story.
Thank you. You all come, and I'm sure you guys see the newspaper on Saturday. That's a very good one. I just read it today. Unbelievable, huh? Well, okay, let's start the interview between me and my mom. And
so, as a little background, we have had Daniel in our family for a little over 3 years. We met him in China for the first time the day before we formally adopted him. It was a week before his 14th birthday. And prior to that, he had grown up in an orphanage in eastern China from when he was a baby till when he was a teenager. And so we decided to do just a little question-answer format so he can share with you some things about his life. So, first of all, Daniel, why don't you tell us some things you liked about growing up in an orphanage?
okay, and the good thing about growing in the orphanage is many things you can learn as you go, because pretty much you're independent and you have to be on your own to know most of the stuff, as is working, washing your own clothes, and of course they do teach you a little bit, but not as one time as your family. So of course the picture on the screen is kind of like distraction, but that's just like cool to out there. So you can see the orphanage kids with me in it. Of course, we do have a bunch of pictures, pretty cool, glad to share, but we only have so many time. So, grow up in the orphanage, good thing is you learn your own and you be able to do stuff like watching other kids to do, like other adults to wash their clothes, and you learn that way, or you also be able to learn what adult kids do, and you maybe learn that way, and you learn stuff many ways, and not one way, it's many ways.
And those of you who know Daniel and know his passion for wires, let me just say I think God preserved his life, because he's got a few stories about rewiring things when no adult was looking.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous, 240 volt, and really don't care.
So those were some good things. What are some bad things about growing up in an orphanage?
Well, you have to keep track of your stuff. Because when you don't do the stuff, like example, if I love something else, it's not look like in the family, no one cared, but in the orphanage, they will take it. And of course, I try my best to be smart enough to be head of the orphanage, so put away the stuff I needed.
And you also have told me before that, obviously, you didn't like having no parents. What were the consequences of growing up with no parents?
Okay, that's a question is between the parent and the kids. Is when the kids go to the orphanage, the kids don't understand why they're in there with other kids, and they maybe don't understand till they go to the school, because when they go to public school, they say, oh, there have other kids, why I don't have parents pick me up, sit all the same people every day, and that kind of stuff, and just like, no parent is miserable, but you will be loved, and that kind of stuff. And you also learn, like, the stuff, maybe you don't have parent, or you do have parent, that's like similar situation, and yeah.
And you had some family experiences during holidays when the orphanage let the kids go to families in the community and have some fun. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, like such as this picture, and I didn't expect anyway. So this picture is like two family, and you go Chinese New Year, you in their house for 7 days. I believe that's the question, correct? And then you go back when the 7 day over, because like the first day you go to their house, you feel like miserable because you don't know what to do and how to react, and the parents do rather feedback. Apparently, I always try to say, hey, if I don't behave, you just write good, that's all. So just who care? And of course I do know that kind of stuff they do right, and I do eventually they do talk about it in the orphanage and ask why you do this and such. So that's why I be smart about it to say, hey, just write so good about me, so next year I can come back. So
And Ruth, if you can fast forward a few pictures, we've got that set of him with the family he stayed with several years ago.
this one.
Yeah.
So this one is like activity in the 7th day. Like you can choose 7 day, you can do whatever. Of course, after 7th day, like in the 7th day, you pretty much you go with this family and learn what the family do and that kind of stuff. And of course, also fun activity and the family provide to you. Of course, this is few picture of the reading of, you see there are 2 opposite kids like me. That will be one of me.
And this one is making dumplings, which everybody does for Chinese New Year. And setting off fireworks.
Yeah, you kind of like this picture is weird. And why is weird? Because they do it in the middle of the building, which I don't know why they're thinking, but it's pretty dangerous, just like me touching the 240 volt wire and hooked together and don't know what the heck I'm doing.
So I know you still have a good relationship with that family. Can you tell us about someone at the orphanage who was important in your life?
One people is Yaman, and other people is Haohuizi, and other people is Zhao Guiyun is the boss. Of course, they taught me a lot of stuff to looking people which way to understand different standard, like stand different corner to looking people, or to understand why people are doing that and to understand. So Zhao Guiyun is very good and very know how to teach kids to be the kids who I am today.
So how do you think growing up in an orphanage made you who you are today?
I learned a lot about passion, like freedom, also like know what to expect when the stuff happens, and this is just like in the process of learning in the orphanage. Of course, maybe kids in the family won't do that because they don't ever get a chance, because many things that happen in your house is not going to happen in your orphanage because they have too many kids. And me personally learn watching pretty much everything, even the stuff I don't need to watch, like such as being annoying or just part of people's conversation and that kind of chatterbox stuff.
And one thing I appreciate about Daniel that I think is a strength he took from his upbringing is that he knows how to connect with anybody. And I know growing up he was with people of all different temperaments, all different abilities and disabilities.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, Daniel can figure out how to talk to you.
Yeah, at least I try. Of course, some people too hard. Here is the song of singing. Of course, just like I win this, like win in China and disability music, #1 in the China in the singing.
Well, in the province.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. So #1. That's just disability. So don't crack me. Yeah.
So, when you were growing up, did you hope you would be adopted?
No, absolutely not, because my information been made since 2000. I would say 2009, 2008, something like that. My information already been supported to send it to the place need get information. So I never sent the hope to find a family such as Lynette and him, which great family, and absolutely we have fun time, and we do have downtime, you know. Of course every family do, but we do learn the stuff in such as looking, and my parents do learn the stuff like such as watching people like me, I guess let me tell and explain that.
Well, I wanted to say, when he talked about being on the list, he was on the waiting list for 4 years before we adopted him. And some kids are waiting even longer, including some West Virginia kids.
In the distance, like I can't remember. So I guess I can say that because mommy don't remember.
I'm not sure what story you're referring to.
So example, if mommy stand up in the back and he laughing at me, I will not be able to see it. I will think he is laughing something else. I think just laughing the sky. I don't know. I may be mad again over that.
So, and these pictures that you're looking at now are the first couple days that we met each other. This is Daniel putting his fingerprint on the paperwork to show that he consented to be adopted.
Yeah, that's an exciting moment. It's when the kids do that. It's like maybe the kids don't understand. I do remember ask my parents, what we doing? Why I do this and that kind of stuff. Got like a million expressions. Of course, people are not supposed to be asking, but I just asking anyway. I said, Mom, I don't want to do this. What did this do? And he said, oh, and so I'm sure you remember that. Ask a zillion questions.
So tell us about your feelings when you found out you were going to be adopted.
Well, be honest with you, only 2-day warning for me. Exactly 2-day warning. Says you're gonna go to the America's mother with your, with your new family and that kind of thing. I say, no way. That's seriously no way. And I asked over. I said, is that possible? And it's not possible. And I didn't believe that. And of course, when the process, like one day later, after they told me, they start doing the process of like taking a picture and have birthday cake and that kind of stuff. Also, like, that's why I know I will get adopted because they first warned me in 2 days. And I was very excited, like pretty mad, and don't understand why. So I called back the orphanage and Saturdays asked, why is you didn't tell me the 2 days before I adopted?
Just a second. That Saturday this past week.
Yeah. So I asked why, and they tell me one is because sometimes the information, sometimes the family don't want a boy because the family, most of you guys know is most popular country is girl easy to go out than boys. So yeah, encouragement.
So what were your first impressions of us when you met us?
Well, first impression is language. How do I gonna speak with this family? And I do know my mom sent me the article said we know a little bit Chinese, and I tried my best to communicate with the little language mommy know, which is difficult. Translator, which we had translator with us. And it's make it a little bit easier. And of course, it also like weirdness. My mom remember, of course, my mom wrote a blog. I jumping up or down, look like I'm crazy little brain problem. So yeah, I don't know what to do and what to expect, and just trying to behave so my mom don't send me back to the orphanage. That's the one I read on the article on the Saturday paper.
What was the hardest, well, you kind of said what was hard about being in the family. What did you like about being in the family?
Well, we have, I in the family, I learned a lot of stuff like how to go outside boss stuff. Of course, you don't get a chance to go outside the boss stuff in the orphanage, only if you have a lot of money. So, and of course, I learned how to use the money correct way, and of course, I do learn how to react with the family and that kind of stuff. And one more thing weird about my family before I meet her is weird is why they talking themselves is basically is why they pray themselves and talking to nobody. That's one. Because in China we don't get a relationship like that, so we pretty much wonder why they talking themselves. So
Yeah, he thought it was very strange when we prayed with him and Esther at bedtime, which you can imagine, we're all sitting around with our eyes closed and talking to nobody in particular, he thought.
weird.
How did you change after being in a family? Oh, by the way, that picture is him learning how our doorbell worked.
I didn't tell her put it on. But he did anyway.
She did.
Yeah, you know, learn to go through the process and trying to fixing stuff and broke stuff. The only thing he worried about every time he come out of the shower, he did make sure he didn't inspect it, you broke something or took it apart something. Because, you know, if I be able to take apart an outlet for 240 watts and was scared, I'm sure he would be able to take out something apart maybe less than that.
So how did you change after being in a family?
Okay, that's change is a big difference. I will tell you it's big different, and reason why is I get a lot of attention in the house. I will have less fight because I in the orphanage is a little fighter, and pretty much every 2 weeks I will fight. Doesn't matter who, I will fight. So I changed a lot, and of course I do not fight for years. That's good.
Amen.
Amen.
And do you have any advice you would give to a family that's thinking about adopting a teenager?
Adopt a teenager is like, you have to be patient, and that's the last question. You have to be patient, and you have to be, like, most of the time communicate with the kids, because when you not communicate the kids don't know what you want and what you ask for, and they don't know, they were afraid to ask the stuff they want. And that's a big stuff we have to watch out for, is make sure they get what they need, and don't afraid to talk to kids when you talk to adults, especially like 13 or 12 years old, because when you not communicate with them, you pretty much just lose her to the game, which I hardly no interest forever for the game. So here is the word for the sound, and of course next I will sing a Chinese sound, and the translator will be on the board. So, okay, mommy go back, and I'm singing by myself. Okay, the music will be playing in a second. I think I did a pretty good job.
Yes.
That's my second time, third time to talk in presentation. 星星坐在夜空里，眼睛眨呀眨。What are you doing? Never mind, they have two, I think they double clicked it, so the two music on the same time. When you turn off one of it, or at least replay and whatever you can do. Mistakes happen, so forgive us. Just like the newspaper says, after 14 we will leave the orphanage. That's not true. After 14 you're not be able to adopt. That's what I mean. So understand that correctly is best, because it's kind of like scary when you leave 14. So yeah, just make sure, keep your mind, that's not what that is. You're 18, you leave the orphanage, or you go somewhere else. So that's what I mean, okay? Now, hopefully the music will be able to back on, and I'll be able to sing for you guys. I'm sure you guys are excited for it. And that's my I think he's 10 years old. if you be able to hear, that's very cute little voice. That's mine. For now, that's mine because for sure it's mine because I record this, and I think it's pretty sweet. I'm still looking for my I'm still looking back for my 9-year-old voice, and it's because it's very awesome music, and the word is very meaningful, and it's pretty much about is communicate the Yama. Before I talk about it, Yama is the person made this music and write the word and record this music with me. So we learn the word, we understand what that means, and I just think it's very powerful, a song to share with you guys. I'm sure you didn't understand English. Well, I wish one day I can use the English to sing this song to you guys because it's very good song. It's about adoption because one word in the song is called take the message to my mama and my dad to tell her come take me home. That's very sweet. Okay, let's go with the music. Can you turn it up a little bit, please? Turn up the music. 星星坐在夜空里，眼睛眨呀眨。你是不是和我一样，也找不到家？找不到爸爸，找不到妈妈。黑夜的来临让我害怕。星星坐在夜空里，眼睛眨呀眨。你是不是和我一样，也找不到家？找不到爸爸，找不到妈妈。黑夜的来临让我害怕。我多想和你说些悄悄话，告诉你我想有美满幸福的家。我把希望寄给你，孤独的星星来传达，传达给爸爸，传达给妈妈，让他们带着爸爸回家。我多想和你说些悄悄话，告诉你我想有美满幸福的家。我把希望寄给你，孤独的星星来传达，传达给爸爸，传达给妈妈，让他们带着爸爸回家，回家。The last word is 回家 means go home. Thanks everyone.